Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we will be starting a Minecraft world as I read some stories I found on Reddit. As always, the stories will be linked in the description below along with the music used, timestamps, and my TikTok. If you like videos like this, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. That being said, sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. Long story, lots of history twists and turns, but a learning experience. So, a 6-month-long relationship with someone I had known since I was 14 or 15. Went to 3 years of summer camp with them, and had a crush the whole time, and then we went on and did our thing. We unknowingly went to the same college, and then spent the first month of school together. She came over my dorm and we watched a movie for class, and she asked me if I was a virgin. I said yes. She asked if I wanted to have sex, and I said no. She agreed that it might mean I would get too attached. I avoided her for most of college, but she came around every once in a while, and I ran into her briefly. That was until our room hosted a party at the beginning of senior year. We both got drunk, and she started asking me why I had avoided her all this time. The convo went poorly because we were both drunk, and eventually I went to bed. I texted her later that week, saying that we should talk for real. We talked for multiple hours and said we would hang out and see what happened. Things went pretty well, and a little quick to be honest. I had a really nice time, and she was everything I wanted and more. Slowly, I felt as though my needs were not being met. I have avoidant attachment earlier in relationships. Then it transforms into anxious attachment as I get more invested. She is a textbook avoidant and multiple times said very vague statements, such as, "I don't want you to find something about me you don't like. There's this pattern, and I want to break the cycle." It threw some alarms up, but I thought I knew this person well enough that it would be fine. One particular conversation, I told her about how I had liked her this whole time, and I don't know if she knew how to react, which is okay because that is a lot, but she wanted to know what was wrong and why I looked surprised every time I saw her. This woman had a hold on me like nothing I have experienced. I think things changed after that, and she got more avoidant. We eventually had a fight where I pinned down that the distance comes from her fear of the same thing happening again, and she wanted to stay by her and said, "I'm scared. I want this to work, but please don't expect anything right away." This was about 4 months in and felt retrospectively like a turning point. I get it. No change happens overnight, but still it felt after we had what felt like serious, earnest discussions, which she avoided often, that she would act more distant after saying the opposite. I would bring up things that made me feel bad or feel left out to dry, like she stopped texting goodnight unless I said it first, or would not invite me over as often, and eventually brought up that she was getting frustrated because she felt like she hadn't been going out as much because she knew I did not like it. I thought to myself, this is your biggest problem right now? Also was very forgetful, and I wanted to know her more deeply, in a way that I used to know her. But for her, it felt like the clock had reset with me, and she forgot everything we did at camp or freshman year, while I remembered exactly what t-shirt she wore when I first saw her at college. I told her that stuff to show how much I care, but wouldn't remember anything I told her or really respond. She had trauma, and she was different in the past. I am a male, but I have integrated my femininity rather well, I think, and she has a decent amount of toxic masculine energy, interrupting, mansplaining, etc. I felt minimized sometimes when I would bring something up that made me uncomfortable, and it would always turn into me doing damage control and never about what I really felt I needed. Eventually, she told me out of the blue. I booked an appointment with therapists. I thought this was a good sign, but she felt even more distant, and every conversation was weather talk for lack of a better term. I always felt like I did more, and while it was appreciated by her, it never felt reciprocated. I'd make little notes or presents and randomly text, "Thinking of you." She would say thank you, but it was just acknowledgement. Then on a walk back home one day, we started fighting again, and I know there is conflict in relationships, but it felt like she felt the only time a real convo was happening was when she raised her voice. And I don't raise my voice often at all unless I'm making a joke or trying to get people's attention as a group. I told her I don't like it, but it seemed less of a sorry honey, I'll try not to do that, and more, that's just how I roll, and I need you to get it. So I would either shut down or meet her volume where it was at, which, like I said, is not an easy thing to get out of me. Eventually, during that discussion, I called out what was happening and how her main concern was, I'm not happy. We're not having fun. I want you to be happy. I said, I'm not going to give up that easy. And she responded all surprised and said, you call this easy? No, it wasn't easy, but it was something I wanted to try at, and that was what counted for me. This is the part that gets me. After that, I stood up and held her hands and stared into her eyes for about 30 seconds, smiling, sighing, frowning, getting a little watery, and kissed her. I said, you trust me? She said, yes. And I said, I want you to be happy. She said to me, too, when we hugged. Then she looked so relieved, and we stepped back. She said, I'm sure I'll see you around. And I was like, what? She had thought that the conclusion we reached was a breakup while my hug, and asking if she trusted me was my sign of solidarity that I wanted to push through, however hard it might be. My heart sank, and I asked, is that what you wanted? She said, no, but it's like, well, why did you say it then? She said, I wanted a conclusion/resolution. I said, well, if you want to do this, you know what my answer is. And she said, all right. I had a concert to practice for that FRI and SAT, and so had to go. But as I left, the last thing she said was, I told you what I wanted, as in enjoying a relationship rather than having deep discussions or resolving issues, as if they'd go away if we just focus on having a nice time. I guess she planned to work on it individually, but that particular line rubbed me the wrong way, so all I said was yes. Fast forward to no text for a day, and Saturday after texting if I could come over, I had a fireball I had. I know that is not smart or good for me, and it's something I need to work on when anxiety is at a high. She responded hours later, and I was drunk, and said, if you want to come over, you gotta respond to my text. I was in no condition, come over, and lost my phone. It says, I don't think I can go to the concert if we haven't talked. Thanks for being there for me while our relationship is on ice, LOL. Then I found about an hour before I had my concert, and was still decently drunk. I called her to apologize, and she kept saying the same stuff. It felt like she was convincing me out of the relationship, when the whole time of our relationship, she said stuff that indicated she just wanted someone to stay by her, which is all I tried to do. I spilled and said all the crazy stuff. I want to marry you. I saw so much potential, etc. She says nothing. Then I say, I gotta go to the show. I laid out all my cards, and it must have been scary to hear, I know, and probably too much to say, but she did not pick up a single one. I did not sleep the night after, and asked if we could talk as friends. I ended it. It felt so damn real, and like I was touching something so close and so far at the same time, but I needed to say it. I could never hate you. I told her everything about my crush on her when I was young, and how there is so much between us, values, needs, and how surprising it was that someone who had such an effect on me could have thought so little of me in the meantime. She told me I was destroying myself, and she didn't want me to destroy myself to make her happy. I was happy, but I was also destroying myself. Too complicated. We said we just wanted each other to be happy, but it wasn't something we could seem to do for each other. I said I can't be friends right now, and she said, maybe someday. I said it'll shake your hand at graduation, and she said you should. I know she loves me and I love her, but she couldn't bring it out of herself. But a part of me feels I was too impatient and unaware of my own triggers and needs, but then again they did not feel addressed when I tried. I don't think I asked for too much, but I definitely gave too much. I feel some regret, but it wasn't what I needed, just what I wanted, and I wanted to be good so bad. A part of me feels released from an 8-year-long curse that I did not want to let go of, but I'm afraid I won't find someone who makes me get butterflies like that again. Cliché, I know. I think when she thought we had broken up the first time, she said she didn't want it to be that way. But she wouldn't have thought that's what I meant if she didn't think it was what she needed. The breakup just felt so oddly shaped, like we lost our paddles and started playing ping pong with our hands and calling it tennis. Any clarity or analysis of me and how I can be better in the future. I wish her the best, and this hurts, but I need to make room for newer things. TLDR. Someone I have known for about 8 years on and off, and eventually got into a relationship that seemed great, but devolved, and I feel disillusioned about how hard I tried, even though it felt like we could have been on the edge of something amazing. The breakup was obviously both our faults, but it felt like she just kept trying to convince me it wasn't working, then it played into her being abandoned. I was lead on for 4 years. So, my story is a now ex-best friend in 2020. Me and her started off as rivals, kinda. We didn't like each other at first. We met in a Vrshot Town of Salem game, and she was with her BF. As time went on, me and her got closer and became inseparable. We were the best of friends in the span of 24 hours. Her BF broke up with her a week after we met, and I was one of the only people there for her. And for 2 months, I helped her through the breakup, and she healed from it. She then told me she liked me, but wasn't ready to start dating yet, and I'm the kind of person like someone that they like me first. I also trusted her and knew her well enough to be okay with liking her back. So I told her I like her back for the next couple months. Me and her were FaceTiming, texting, calling, and hanging out on Vrshot every chance we could. We were always together. But the one day she started ghosting everyone, and for the next year, none of our friends have heard from her. We'd see her online, but she was always on Do Not Disturb, and on Vrshot, that means nobody can invite her or request an invite from her. For a whole year, I would text her every day, no response. But without fail, hey, how are you doing? Or, hey, are you okay? Text would be sent to her from me. One day, she finally responded. She told me she wasn't in a headspace to talk to anyone because of stuff that was going on in her life. I understood and told her that I would always be here if she needed someone to talk to. She slowly started talking to me again, and I found out she was dating a new guy. I was upset, but still happy for her. Me and him met, and he was really cool at first, but then me and her found out that he was cheating on her for a week. They broke up, and just like last time, I was the only one to be there for her. She didn't ghost me after that one, though. Me and her spent a lot of time together. I still liked her, and she told me she still liked me, but I still waited until she was ready to date again before I tried to ask her out. I waited 5 months, asked her out. She said she wasn't ready. Waited another month, same thing, and every month, for 3 months, I'd ask her out once, usually at the end of the month. Every time she told me she wasn't ready. Then, 2 weeks after I asked her out last, she's with a new person. They break up months after getting together. Then the cycle restarts. I'm there for her. After a respectable amount of time, I ask her out. She continues to say she's not ready for months on end and gets with a new person. This happens 3 more times. But after the last breakup and 5 more times of asking her out, me and another friend start liking each other and we end up dating. She then gets upset at me and tries to guilt trip me, saying, if you would have just waited another week, I would have asked you out. And that's the thing that set me off. I've liked you for 3 years now, insert name here, and you've been saying you like me back, but you always get with other people. Even though that hurts me, I've always pushed the negative feelings and emotions down and have only been happy for you. Why can't you do that for me? That was our first fight, and after that she got with someone else. We still hung out because we were still best friends, and she apologized about her behavior the day after the argument, so I forgave her. We both broke up with our new partners. She broke up with hers a month after I broke up with mine, and we both helped each other heal. I still liked her, but the next person she got with really hurt me and some other people in a friend group. So my other best friend recently broke up with her BF of 2 years. That ex-BF and the best friend I like started hanging out a week before him, and my other best friend broke up. He wasn't cheating on her. I was always with him when he was hanging out with my best friend that I liked. But the night of their breakup, him and the Phil, best friend I liked, started dating. Nobody knew because they kept it secret. But the Phil told me a week after they got together, and I was really upset. Not at her, but at him. I, of course, told my other best friend, and this made a lot of people mad at the 2 new lovebirds. I still stayed friends with them, but I would not invite them or even all about them while I was with the others I respect, and vice versa. A couple months go by, and the same reason my best friend broke up with the guy. The Phil broke up with him for the same reason. She was never brought back into the friend group. So it was always just me, her, and her new friend group. I started the cycle again, but 6 months later she got with a new guy. I finally gave up and lost feelings. We were still best friends, but that started to change after I moved out of the house I was in. I moved in with my dad and didn't have good internet, so I couldn't hang out on Vrshot with her and her BF as much. I also turned 18 that year and tried Tinder. I matched with this girl, and we really hit it off. We started dating, and I started hanging out with her a lot. Still making sure to text my best friend, that I no longer liked, every day. But Mother's Day came around, and me and my new GF went to my grandparents' house, the house I lived in before I moved in with my dad, and her parents kicked her out of the apartment. My grandparents agreed, and they let her move in. I moved back in so we could spend more time together, and that really made my best friend upset. Me and my best friend had an argument about how I don't spend time with her anymore, and when I tried to explain that I didn't have internet for a while and what happened to my GF, she didn't seem to care. She started to ghost me some point we had another argument, so bad that we blocked each other. Months go by, and I still missed her. For months I tried to make amends, but she didn't want to hear anything. Me and that GF are no longer together. We broke up last year, and after that I tried my hardest to talk to my ex-best friend. I don't have feelings for her. I just want to be friends again. She was there for me when nobody else was. She got more upset that I have been trying to make amends because she's that pissed about the last argument. Also, me and the other best friend left the friend group and made a new one with some new friends we made. She's still my number one bestie to this day. TLDR, ex-best friend leave me on for 4 years, get it with other people, and got mad when I got with other people. I'm having problems with my girlfriend female, age 20, and I don't know what to do. Any advice? Male, age 20. I'm 20 years old, and I have been with my girlfriend for 2 years now, and I know her for 3. For the most part, our relationship has been amazing. We go on dates. We drive all over the country. We're close with each other's families, and we know nearly everything about each other. I know I'm young, but this relationship is serious, and things are at a high level. However, I am having an internal conflict. I don't think I want as bad as her anymore. For the longest time, I have always been the one showing affection and putting in the effort, and I long for it back, and I finally got about 1 year and 2 months ago now. Since then, everything was great. We got closer, explored each other, and learned so many new things, and it got serious. I made a bad choice, however. I breached her trust after a long period of time of having suspicions, basing them off what I had heard from other people, and what findings I made myself of her with other people. When I had brought it up to her, she reassured me and eventually got agitated when the issue kept arising, but I just couldn't shake the thoughts from my head. After a long time of overthinking and sleepless nights, I decided to go through her phone when she was asleep. This was during our phase when things got serious and we were happy. What I found on her phone disturbed me. I found revealing images sent and received from multiple guys I had a bad feeling about, and one guy I had never given a second thought. They weren't fully revealing, but they were flirtatious. I knew this because I had received the same type of images from her myself. Some of the images dated to a month before I was looking through the phone. I also found text messages which revealed that she once had a thing going on with another guy from around the time we started going out. I also had suspicions on this person. I was absolutely devastated and appalled, and I didn't know what to do. I had felt pain before, but I didn't know how to process this feeling of jealousy and betrayal. So I hid it from her. She noticed me shutting down for following 2 months, but I never brought it up because of how I found what I found. Eventually, I got cornered, and I admitted it. When we talked about it, she showed me her phone, and the images were deleted. That's the moment that I knew. She knew what she had done was wrong. There was an argument about privacy and betrayal, but I was a pussy and didn't want to be the one that ended things, so I stayed and tried to forgive her, convinced myself it wasn't cheating, but deep down I know that it was. The relationship continued, and we started college, and it seemed like things were picking up, but it never left my mind. We continued to have fun, go on dates, and even have an intimate relationship. But my feelings for her and the way I looked at her and the way I acted was only a shell of what it used to be. Since then, I have been annoyed by her, and it's only gotten worse over time. And at the time of writing this, it is at an all-time high. We argue because I don't do the things she needs from me, and it's brought up almost every week. It is absolutely draining me, along with her constant need to know what I'm doing and where I am, and requiring a text off me every hour. I also don't have as much freedom as I did a year ago with her, and that greatly bothers me as I am very much a social person. I don't have the same drive for her anymore, even though we do so much stuff together. It's like I'm hiding what I'm truly feeling from everyone. No one knows I feel this way about her. Everyone thinks it's going great. Not even she knows how I'm feeling. I feel this all derives from what I found on her phone. I don't feel free anymore, and I don't feel independent. Are committed relationships supposed to feel like this? Is this what it's like forever? I honestly have no idea if I'm wrong for what I'm feeling. I want a mature relationship, and I feel like all her constant need for reassurances, despite the fact that she betrayed me, not the other way around, and the insecurity and arguing prevents that from happening. Maybe I could move past it if things were more mature, if I could freely meet up with friends without having to update her every hour, or there was an argument every time I didn't answer her. I've weighed up everything, and there is so many reasons to stay with her, as well as break up with her. For example, how much we know about each other, our connection with each other's families, her desperate need for me to keep her happy, her mental health. These are only a small number out of a multitude of reasons to stay with her. Having a free life, no more arguments, no more feeling guilty, free of feeling trapped, being able to do what I want with my life. Ridding myself of the feeling of betrayal and not feeling like I'm living a lie are also a number of multiple reasons to end it with her. The most frustrating thing about all of this is that we have a holiday booked that we both spent €1,000 on that's non-refundable. I just don't know what to do. Please, I need brutally honest advice on what I should do here, because I'm at a complete loss. To add, this is not a case of me wanting to explore other women. I've always been about loyalty. Feel free to ask me questions. I really need help here. Thank you for reading. Smiley face. Gone wrong date. Me, female age 18. Went on a first Tinder date with a male age 20. Gone wrong. A couple days after I turned 18, I got Tinder. There was this boy I matched with named Ben, fake name for this story. He liked me, so I like him back. He messaged me a tiny paragraph saying what he does for work and what his daily life is. I hadn't gone on any Tinder dates before, and I said it was pretty late. He said it'll make it worth it and how we could grab drinks and talk. I finally said, okay, come get me. And I don't drive, so grinning face, he picked me up in his super cool lifted truck. And it was loud, and it was adrenaline rushing. We didn't have a plan where to go, so we drove around, and then he asked if it was okay to stop at a gas station. And I said, okay, yeah, and he started making out with me and touching me, and at first I was a little uncomfortable, and I broke what was happening with, well, where are we going to go? So we continued to drive for a bit, and then we were talking, and we stopped at a different gas station almost 20 minutes later, and he got out with me, and he bought me a Red Bull, and he got a drink too. We sat in his truck talking about our lives, and it was nice. I sort of got to know him. Ben and me were making out, and he asked me to go farther, and I really was mad at my ex, who I just got broken up with. I let him go farther. Then he had to take me home because he had worked really early, but before that he let me try and drive his truck with a clutch, but it started going backwards. Mind you, I am 18 and no one has ever taught me to drive before, and it was a memorable moment. He then took me home and dropped me off the next morning. My Tinder account is completely glitched and not letting me text, and I'm crushed thinking I'll never see him again. Weeks go by and I have a new Tinder account, and he just so happened to show up on my Tinder. And I super liked him because I thought about him every day, and I was so sad that I thought we were meant to be. He texted me a couple minutes after saying, hey. I said hi OMG and explained what I thought about my Tinder glitching and how I was looking for him. I said I miss him and how I want to see him again, and he said I miss you too. I told Ben I want to see him again, and he said I want to see you too. BTW, this man had short-term fun in his bio, but he never said if he only did one-night stands to me. We ended up hanging out that night, and he said he wanted to choose what I wore, so I was told to wear leggings and a top. I got his car, and I was like, I thought about you every day, and I asked him what he thought had happened, and he said, I thought you went your own way off the app. We ended up hanging out that night and doing it, but his car belt was broken down, and he made me help him fix it, and it was a lot of work. And I gave him my number when we matched the second time BC. I was scared my Tinder was going to glitch again, and he didn't even start to text my number. He kept texting my Tinder. I assume he only does one-night stands, but this really stung, and I don't understand. I woke up the next morning, and I was blocked. But I never did anything wrong or say anything bad. He also hit me the second time, and it really ruined what I thought we could have had. I cried so hard the first time when he blocked me. I wish he was a better person. Yes, I admit it was very naive of me to think that we were meant to be, but I was really just upset with what my ex had done to me at the time. And he had to convince me the first time to hang out. I really did think it was too late for a date, and I didn't really want to do it, but he tried to convince me, and it worked. All right, everyone, I think that's enough stories tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and it's a start of a series I'm going to be doing. That being said, I hope you guys have a relaxing night. I'll catch you later. Good night, everyone.
No.